Hi, this is Ridea Keeping It Real, and we are reading through the Bible using the Good News Bible. We're on the Apocrypha, the Wisdom of Solomon, and we're up to chapter 9, and this is Solomon's prayer for wisdom. And I had did the video of chapter 9 and 10 and colored the pictures, and then when I went back to listen to it, I said I need to re-record that. So here I am re-recording it, which is why the coloring is already done. So here we go. Solomon's prayer, praise for wisdom. This is his prayer. Put yourself there. You're Solomon. You're the king. You're young. You've realized somewhere along the line that wisdom is something you need. So you're asking the Most High for it, to give it to you. God of my ancestors, merciful Lord, by your word you created everything. By your wisdom you made man to rule over creation, to rule all creation, to govern the world with holiness and righteousness, to administer justice with integrity. Give me the wisdom that sits beside your throne. Give me a place amongst your children. I'm your slave, as was my mother before me. I'm only human, and I am strong, and my life will be short. I have little understanding of the law or of how to apply it. Even if a man is perfect, he will be thought of as nothing without the wisdom that comes from you. You chose me over everyone else to be the king of your own people, to judge your sons and daughters. You told me to build a temple on your sacred mountain, an altar in Jerusalem, the city you chose as your home. It is a copy of that temple in heaven, which you prepared at the beginning. Wisdom is with you and knows your actions. She was present when you made the world. She knows what pleases you, what's right, and in accordance with your commands. Send her from the holy heavens down, from your glorious throne, so that she may work at my side, and I may learn what pleases you. She knows and understands everything and will guide me intelligently in what I do. Her glory will protect me, that I will judge your people fairly and be worthy of my Father's throne. My actions will be acceptable. Who can ever learn the will of God? Human reason is not adequate for the task, and our philosophies tend to mislead us because our mortal bodies weigh our souls down. The body is a temporary structure made of earth, a burden to the active mind. All we can do is make guesses about things on earth. We must struggle to learn about things that are close to us. Who then can ever hope to understand heavenly things? No one has ever learned your will unless you first gave him wisdom and sent your Holy Spirit down to him. In this way, people on earth have been set on the right path, have learned what pleases you, and have been kept safe by wisdom. So parts of that prayer we can use to ask the Most High for wisdom. Now, today, starting now, and every day you feel you need to ask until you know you have it. So it's not just some words in a book. These are words that Solomon used when he prayed for wisdom. We can use it as a guide. That was chapter 9. Chapter 10 is as powerful as chapter 9. So chapter 10 talks about wisdom and how wisdom had its role in the book of Genesis in the beginning. And it goes through, starting with Adam. Wisdom protected Adam. Wisdom protected the father of the world, the first man that was ever formed, when he alone had been created. She saved him from his own sinful act and gave him the strength to master everything on earth. So wisdom was there without. Wisdom abandoned by Cain. Cain abandoned wisdom. So there was an unrighteous man who abandoned wisdom. He destroyed himself by killing his brother in a fit of anger. And then it gives you down here the verses in Genesis. No, I just wrote them here, what the verses are, where you can go find this information, find the story, find the history. Wisdom protected Noah. Because of that sin, the earth was flooded. But wisdom saved it again. She got a righteous man in his flimsy wooden boat. And so also the part of this that I talked about in the first video I did on this was that sin and the giants and the Nephilim. And go back to Genesis and read about that. Read about, and I'm going to go there again because I think it's so important that people make this connection. It's actually here back in 6, the wickedness of mankind. When mankind had spread all over the world and girls were being born, some of the supernatural beings, and you look down there what that means, supernatural beings, or sons of the gods, or sons of gods, angels that came down, and what did they do? They saw that the girls were pretty, so they took the ones they liked, had sex with them. Then the Lord said, I will not allow people to live forever. They are mortal. From now on, they will live no longer than 120 years. In those days, and even later, there were giants on the earth who were descendants of human women and the supernatural beings. So think about the reason for the flood. The flood, the waters came up high, right? To kill the giants. Didn't kill them all. How do we know that? Because of David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant, right? So research that and study that. That's very important to make sense of things, right? To make it make sense. So wisdom helped Abraham. So once when the nations were frustrated in their wicked plans, wisdom recognized a righteous man and kept him innocent in God's sight. She gave him strength to obey God's command in spite of his love for his son Isaac. You know, when Abraham put Isaac on the altar and God said, you got to kill him. And he was willing to do it. And God said, no, I was just testing you. Wisdom. Wisdom rescued Lot. So remember Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt? So wisdom rescued a righteous man when ungodly people were dying. He escaped the flames that destroyed the 5 cities. You can still see the evidence of their wickedness. The land there is barren and smoking. The plants bear fruit that never ripen, and the pillar of salt stands as a monument to one who did not believe. The people of those cities ignored wisdom and could not tell right from wrong. Not only that, but by the nature of their cities still remind us that the foolish ways they live, so that the failure can never be forgotten. But wisdom rescued her servants from the danger. The next one. Wisdom protected Jacob. A righteous man once had to escape from his brother's anger, and wisdom guided him in the right way. She showed him God's kingdom and allowed him to know about holy things. She made him prosper and successful in his work. When others were greedy for what he had and wanted to take it away from him, wisdom stood by him and made him rich. She protected him from his enemies, who were waiting for a chance to attack him. She gave him victory in a hard fight so that he might realize that nothing can make a person stronger than serving God. And then wisdom rescued Joseph. The first one was Jacob, and this is Joseph. Once a righteous man was sold into slavery, but wisdom did not abandon him. She kept him safe from sin. She went to prison with him and never left him until she had given him power over an empire and made him the ruler of people who had once oppressed him. She let it be known that a false accusation had been made against him, and she gave him eternal honor. And then the last one from this chapter is wisdom led the Israelites out of Egypt. Wisdom once rescued an innocent and holy people from a nation of oppressors. She entered the soul of one of God's servants, Moses, talking about Moses, and stood up to the dreaded kings by performing miracles. She rewarded God's people for their hardships. She guided them along a miraculous journey. She gave them shade during the day and brilliant starlight at night. She led them through the deep waters of the Red Sea. But she drowned their enemies and washed their bodies up on shore. And so the righteous looted the ungodly. The righteous looted the ungodly. They sang hymns to your holy name, O Most High. Together they praised you for defending them. Wisdom gave speech to those who could not speak. She even caused babies to speak clearly. Powerful. So like I said, I've already colored the picture, but you can kind of see it here. I wrote the word wisdom up there. Wisdom has been throughout, and it's a feminine energy. It's the breath of the Most High. It's the Holy Spirit. So just think through that. All of these years of thinking that the Holy Spirit was a he. So you can see that it's kind of hard to even get past that point if you don't even know that the quality is a she. It's feminine energy. And so this is the picture of Cain and Abel, where Cain killed Abel. Picture of Noah and the ark. Picture of Lot and his wife and the burning of the city. Picture of Jacob. That's supposed to be Jacob's ladder, the dream he had. This is Joseph. Joseph, hey, he went through a whole lot but came out on top. And this is Moses bringing the people out of Egypt through the Red Sea. This is powerful. So that's the wisdom of Solomon. His prayer is in chapter 9. And then the example of wisdom throughout Genesis and the places you can go and read those stories if you haven't. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So I'm going to stop there. So until next time, it's Ridea keeping it real.